Backstage with AJ Blues, coming to you live on a Monday morning. It is 10:13 a.m., a bit of a rainy day. We've had an eventful weekend. In fact, now I'm in Facebook jail, apparently, by posting that someone was harassing me, and it didn't meet their guidelines. What? Wait a minute, I'm being harassed, and you're going to take my account and lock it. What kind of sense does that make? I tell you what, it just keeps getting better and better around here, doesn't it? But hey, if it weren't for bad luck, we'd have no luck at all. Nah, this is just, I don't consider that bad luck. I consider it the fact that we must be doing something right to have so much against us all of a sudden. And I'm just going to continue speaking the truth. It does not matter. I mean, I was raised that way. I will continue to go forward. And Backstage with AJ Blues will continue to run. We may not have our Facebook segment for everybody, but that's all right. We got everything else still operating and flowing just fine. And yeah, the person that we're talking about is Elaine Henderson. Past 2 Saturdays, we've gotten phone calls from a number we did not recognize. As I checked with everybody here, nobody knew it. It was not in the program list. And it's 803-240-1727. So, figuring it's a cell phone, that's what it looked like. I did pulled up the search window on Facebook, just plugged those numbers in, and it came up with Elaine Henderson's account. Now, the number wasn't listed in the account, so I mean, I couldn't fully verify it. I didn't have verification, actually, until yesterday. Or was it this morning? Because this person also has a page called CWP Chick, where she's certified. And more harassment on that. We're going to get to that right after this.
You had me broken to pieces, had me cut open and bleeding, but I feel like I'm finally seeing, feel like I'm finally breathing, and now sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm proving now, but I know never gonna let you in, never gonna let you in, never gonna let you in, never gonna let you in. I finally picked up the pieces, I finally started believing that I could fight off all of these demons. Feels like I'm finally breathing, and sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm proving now, but I know never gonna let you in, never gonna let you in, never gonna let you in, never gonna let you in. You had me broken to pieces, broken to pieces. Never gonna let you, never gonna let you. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm proving now, but I know I'm never gonna let you in, never gonna let you in, never gonna let you in, never gonna let you in. You had me broken to pieces, broken to pieces. Never gonna let you, never gonna let you. You had me broken.
Villanova for you on BackStage. All right, that was Villanova for you on BackStage with AJ Blues. Yeah, helps if you turn the mic on. I know. We went through that 2 days ago. It's a Monday. What do you expect? What do they say? Rainy days and Mondays? But we're not letting it get us down. No, 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 no. Just like the song said, never going to let you win. You know, this person is trying to, that we're talking about, is basically trying to stir up the way she's doing it, she's trying to stir up some violence. And it's not going to be long before one of these gun nuts, yeah, I can call them gun nuts. I support the Second Amendment. I just don't support Fruit Loops. And, you know, we went head to head with the Kershaw County Patriots because they're bunch of damn gun-toting militants that really have no regard for, I mean, at all. I mean, if you remember back then when we were going back and forth with those people, I mean, they were threatening to kill me then. So, I mean, this is another day in the neighborhood for AJ Blues, don't you know? We get plenty of threats and hate mail and stuff like that. Nothing new there. But I think actually the way the school district's doing things against us this time might be a little different. I actually do believe that somebody's going to try to take a shot. And, you know, there's not much I can do about it. I mean, except shut up, I guess, right? Quit telling the truth. I wasn't brought up that way. I can't do that. So, if you, it's like Jack Nicholson said in that movie, you can't handle the truth. But, and it's just like the interview with Greg Outawine on WIS. You know, they asked me what my strength was, what one of my greater strengths were, and I said, well, because I'm painfully honest. If you don't want to know, don't ask, because I will tell you. And I don't think we need sugarcoating. I think we need straight talk. I think the way things have gotten nowadays, there's been too much sugarcoating and too much allowing this and allowing that and too much sliding by. And, you know, the people that are doing right are the ones that are getting in trouble. And it's all thanks to these white-collar criminals. I do not go along with that fad. I'm sorry. It's time to make changes. And if you want a real change, you want to piss some white-collar criminals off at the same time and really make some changes, go ahead and write in AJ Blues on May 1st. They're not expecting it. Nobody's expecting it. Nobody expects you to do that. That's the whole beauty of it. Chris Wooten's already walking around like he's got it. Surprise him. Get out there and vote AJ Blues. You'll have to type it in. So do it. Do it and make a difference. But anyway, back to the nut job. Yeah, I'm in Facebook jail because of the nut job. The cunt with problems chick. Yeah. Yeah, I said it. I've always said such things on my show, and I'll continue to do so. Like I said, I'm painfully honest. You don't want to hear it? Don't. And if you don't want to be the news, don't be the news. That's the other thing, you know. I've been harassed all week, all weekend. I mean, it's just, you know. What do you think you're accomplishing? You're making yourselves, I mean, you're accusing me of such things, and yet you're doing those things. Let's think about it. You're the ones doing the things. You're the ones doing the bullying. You're the ones doing the threats. You're the ones trying to, you know, intimidate not just me, but friends and family. And you think, hell, let's sit up. And you think I'm just going to sit there and take it? Not going to happen. Like I said, I'm not brought up that way. I've stood up for so many people, and I will stand up for myself. You know, whenever I took the hit in January, I made sure I was very clear on the statement I gave, explaining that there were no threats made. Were you in court? Were you there? No. But that's all right. Other people were, and it was recorded. So when we get our hands on that, everybody will know. In fact, everybody's going to know anyway the truth of things going on, because we don't sugarcoat, we don't cover it up, we don't sweep it under the rug. It's not ever been the fashion of Backstage with AJ Blues. It's never been the fashion of AJ Blues anywhere. I mean, look how many benefits that we've done, and we'll get publicity on it. We'll be on TV for that, and we'll have a list of bands. And it never failed. Almost every time we would have a group or somebody, an individual, that was on that poster that would take and cause a problem, or not going to play, or they wasn't satisfied with this. No, look, it's a benefit. Okay, we're not asking for any. I mean, if you can't do it, you can't do it. Just say so. Don't make a big deal about it, especially right the day before the event, which Alter Ego found that out. I'll call you out. I mean, I'll go ahead and continue the motions on the benefit, and then I'll talk about the pros, and then I'll talk about the negatives of dealing with it. There's a lot that goes into putting on one of those shows, and it's for a charity, and you want to be a crybaby about it, and that's no different than what people are doing right now. Everybody knows the election was about, or is about, corruption. We've got corruption in this area. We've got the corruption in the whole state. And it's the corrupt that are scared. And that's why they want their golden boy, so they can be protected. But somebody like me that can't be bought, isn't taking any money from anybody, is telling you the actual stuff that's going on, has videoed a lot of the stuff that's going on around here and turned it in, and you want to come at me? Well, if they say, what is it, the guilty? Really, I mean, I like Metallica's line, the empty can rattles the most. And that it is what it is there. I mean, we're dealing with a corrupt society. We're dealing with participation trophy winners. We're dealing with all sorts of lollycoddle, whatever, and it's ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. I've had enough of it. I know everybody around here that's long term been here before all the transplants showed up has had enough. And everybody wants something better. A lot of people, how Lexington used to be, it was nowhere near what it is now. I mean, you fart the wrong way and it's unlawful. I mean, how ridiculous are we getting? And even people were being political figures offended because they were called a puppet. Well, hello, that is political speech. Many political figures have been called puppets. Puppets for oil companies. Puppets for big pharmaceuticals. I mean, puppets for this, puppets for that. I mean, that's what they are. They have no. If they had original thought, they don't have the balls to do anything with it. No, they're part of the crew. They're part of the ship, part of the crew. They're gonna get their money, and that's where they made the mistake. They took money from these people, and they got they got that down payment bought and paid for afterwards. Vote this way, vote that way, help us out here. Let's raise the taxes on these people and not these people. Shit, hell with that. I signed a pledge. I won't raise taxes. In fact, I want to get rid of some of them. Okay? I'd love to get rid of all of them, but that's not going to be, within reach. But you got to take what you can, and you got to start somewhere, and then maybe eventually, we can get to that better point. I am, like I said, a supporter of the Second Amendment, but I support the First Amendment. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in this business either. And, I believe the First and Second Amendment are in that order for a reason. Whenever your First Amendment rights are being squandered and tyranny shows its evil head, then you have the right to the Second Amendment to do something about it. And no, don't twist my words. That is how it is written. Don't twist my words. I'm not saying to tell everybody, oh, well, it's time to take up arms and start fighting. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's how it is written to be. Property rights. You have the right to defend your property. And a lot of people in this area have had problems on their property. And there's some old farmers out here that will meet you with a shotgun if you show up on their property. And that's been noted and witnessed, actually. And you people want to go after the messenger on it. I don't have a gun. Yeah, I support the Second Amendment, but I don't have a gun. I used to have a gun. I used to have a Rossi 357, and I could hit you with that. I was a good shot. And, but, I had bought that thing for a reason, because there was, things going on and felt the need for extra protection. That was my right. That was my choice. And whenever I felt that I no longer needed it, I actually sold it. So, but you know what? It doesn't matter, because a lot of these people committing crimes, they're not afraid of guns. I mean, they really aren't afraid of guns. So it's kind of like the Iron Man movies, and actually it's a lot like the Nations. They have that nuclear deterrent deal. Well, that's what you're doing. I mean, not always by having a weapon are you trying to, you're not buying a weapon to use it on somebody, especially if you make it public that you have it when you're out practicing every day. It's a deterrent. It is so people see, okay, that person's armed and they can shoot. And I'm talking about, yes, I'm referring back to the crossbows, and I'm referring back to the compound bows and all that. And you would think that people would just take note of that. I mean, you're on your property shooting. But no, they keep coming over, and then they'll tell lies about you and say that you're threatening them. Well, when is it considered threatening someone? When you're outside practicing with a family member, and somebody decides to start driving through your yard aimed at a family member. Is it a threat then? Something for you to think about. I mean, say you're out there with your mother and you're just having innocent fun. I mean, really, it's innocent fun. You're competing against each other, to see who can shoot the best and hit the target here and all that. And you're just having some fun on your property. Nowhere near the road. You're well back on the property. And some asshole decides they want to race through, and it's not just one car, but two cars. And they start charging your mother down. What is your reaction? That's my question to you. What's going to be your reaction at that point? Well, let's see. Before that, one already did hit one of my family members and try to push him out the way. We're not talking about, there is no road out here cutting through. It's a private driveway, And we're not even talking about on the driveway. We're talking about in the yard. They may have used that drive to get there, but they ended up on the grass. They've cut through the front yard. We've had people going into the back. We have found people on foot as well. I mean, and knowing all the threats and everything that goes by every day, and when you confront these people on your property, and they start threatening you and telling you also too that they can do whatever they want to. I mean, when is enough enough? I mean, law enforcement has had several reports. They have been given video, and yet nothing was getting done. Nothing. Not until October of last year was anything done on 2 of the kids, and they're facing harassment. And that's Christopher Grant Smith and Carson Scott Smith. They both go to school over here. They don't even live here, and they kept coming over here repeatedly. Now, it went on for over a year, about a year and a half, with them being the ringleaders. You know, it seems like once you get rid of some, you know, some move on, whatever, they pass the baton to the next. Because before that, it was Max Paulson and another kid. And now we got other kids doing it again. So, I mean, but the thing was, you know, we've met so many different deputies, and some of them were worthless, and some of them seemed to actually try to do something. And one of the ones we were dealing with was Scotty Fryer. And Scotty would say that he was going to go talk to the parents. Then he tried to say that it's not the same kids, and the same kids would be the ones following us around, following me, following friends, tried to run them off the road. And when they got to where they was following me, they got on video. And I was like, okay, now prove to me it's not the same ones. Well, you can't see who I said, there's the vehicle, there's the tag. It's, you know, somebody's got to be responsible for that vehicle, right? It's in the parent's name. They know who's doing what. They can deny all they want to, but that's their vehicle. They're responsible for it. Just like if there was a wreck, if these people would hit you and say they swap drivers or something, it does not matter. Whoever had permission to use that vehicle is liable. The person that owns the vehicle is liable. And you can do a lawsuit for damages on that, civil suits, because of that. So why not hold them accountable that way? Well, we found the truth out on January 30th. Because Scotty knew the family. He knew the mama. Apparently he's had a relationship with the mother. So there he was. I mean, it made sense now why it took a year and a half or anything to get done. And it escalated so much with them when it could have been handled from the start. I mean, it takes how many incident reports on the same thing and catching them and videoing them? I mean, how many times? I mean, now, unless it's me and you're making up a lie about me, then you can do one incident report and then take me to jail and not even talk to me about it when I didn't even do the incident at all. But they're just kids being kids. Well, there's a lot of that just kids being kids going on. Florida, Memphis, I mean, come on. I wouldn't put it past these kids that we're talking about to go in and shoot up a place. I would not put it past them. Because you can look at them and tell they're mean as a rattlesnake. So, I mean, when is it enough? Now, how about the fact that it was a sheriff's, I believe, lieutenant, that was covering up for these kids for that long. I mean, what about that? What about the fact, too, that we have underage sales going on at Gator Mart, and they allow them to sit over there and basically pregame and get all damn screwed up, and then they want to come over here and raise hell? How about the fact that Gator Mart also has been selling after-hour liquor sales? We've already proved that. Time-stamped receipts. A citizen went over there and did it multiple occasions. Report that to the sheriff's department. Oh, we'll look into it. And you know, they say that they can use the stuff as a reference, but it has to go through SLED. Deal with SLED. SLED don't give a shit. They don't look at, they say, well, it wasn't collected by a law enforcement agency, so we can't do anything with it. And they check the place one time, and they say, well, they didn't do it. But we got so many agents and so many places to go. Like, dude, we could show any day of the week that the place was doing this. And not carding people. And not to mention, too, some of these people would come over here or come through here to go there and back. I mean, one guy did get caught on that, but I mean, it wasn't for the after-hour sales. He got caught for open container because he popped that thing. He got on our property and popped that thing open and started drinking, and then got out there on the road. And the sheriff's department, I'd actually just called them for something else, and they showed up during that. So they caught him, and that was New Year's, I believe. I believe that was right around New Year's. Might have been no. It was Thanksgiving. That was what it was. It was Thanksgiving. So you got that stuff going on. These are the little things at the bottom here, and these are the things that involve students and teachers. Some of the teachers have come over here as well. And I'm not saying all teachers, because I support teachers. I really do. I don't support covering up the problems and coddling these kids for that, and first of all, too, they're driving, they are coming on private property, they're making threats at you, delivering threats onto your front porch, sending you anonymous packages, stuff like that, and you catch them face to face. I'm sorry, they're not kids at that point. They've already crossed over into something else, and they need to answer for their actions. PR bonds don't cut it. No. Just like and I hate to say it, he is a friend of mine. There's a friend of mine that has a kid that got in trouble recently, and even though it wasn't an actual gun, it was still a gun. It was a BB gun or a pellet gun or something. And the kid got in trouble because he was taking aim at stuff at the school. And it wasn't this school, it was another one down the road here. And he got arrested, and the charge was kind of beefy. But he got a PR bond. And I know my friend probably feels good that it was that way, but I mean, that's happening with a lot of them that are getting taken in. They get the PR bonds when it's something major, something that could be major. And I bet you there was no mental health evaluation assigned to that. I'm willing to bet you there was not, because that's what everybody's talking about, but they don't want it in this area, not with the kids. No, let's go after the people reporting it. Let's see if we can get them locked away and buried for a little while. And that's basically what's happening in our direction. And it's affecting my people. It's affecting me. And I love it. They asked me too while I was on that little vacation. They would constantly ask me, so, well, how do you deal with all this stuff? How do you keep going through? And I said, doesn't it hit at you and all? I said, the only thing hitting at me right now is being here, in this facility. I said, I am not a happy camper about that. But, in the music business, is pretty rough too. I don't know if you heard the interview with Pam for Pam's Front Porch. I mean, music business gets pretty rough. I mean, some of the places you play, yeah, you face guns. Hell, guns get fired. They do. And I have actually faced a gun 4 times, and I'm still here. But going back to where we started here, now we got these gun-toting Fruit Loops that are trying to discredit and spread all sorts of bad things on me, and then it's getting other people riled up, wanting to threaten and beat my ass or even shoot me. So, what's going to happen when that happens? What are you guys going to do when the bluesman gets taken down by one of these nut jobs? That's what I want to know. Because the bluesman ain't going to stop speaking up for what's right. And a lot of this stuff right here that's going on, it ain't right. Who says that? I said that. AJ Blues. You're listening to Backstage with AJ Blues. It's time for some Jeff Norwood. I figured this song is good enough to follow up with.
I mean, this is rough as sandpaper, but that's what it is.
That's what we like.
Killing war, now what we got? Building jails instead of schools, cause paying taxes for folks too. Goddamn South Carolina. Goddamn South Carolina. Well, the government can all go to hell, long as you were all doing well. Riding around in your SUVs, you ought to be in shirts and strapped up sleeves. Goddamn South Carolina. Goddamn South Carolina. Don't feel bad when they play you for a fool. Ain't like you had a chance to learn much at school. All your lawyers, politicians, and preachers, yeah, ought to be put down. Let's get some teachers. Goddamn. Now you cops with the stuff you do. Undermines the Constitution you all swore to. Goddamn South Carolina. Coming in on 95, see the both at welcome signs and wonder what paid for that, and you worry about poor folks getting fat. Goddamn South Carolina. Federal troops need to come back down, burn this motherfucker down. And you say, what good would that do? Since you had to start anew, had to simple in a different place. Slavery should be some minimum wage. Goddamn South Carolina. Goddamn South Carolina. different place. 'Cause the minimum wage is still the same as slaves. Goddamn South Carolina, goddamn South Carolina, goddamn South Carolina.
Backstage with AJ Blues, little Jeff Norwood for you. GDSC, in case you couldn't figure that out. So, anyway, just wanted to make sure I let y'all know how the weekend was going. We did have some good shows going on with a few different calls that we had. Some of the calls we didn't get to. KK Bloxham, we'll be getting with him hopefully soon. You won't see much on Facebook. We're in Facebook jail because we actually were reporting, and this never fails. Anytime I report something, it always comes backwards. So it's like there's several other AJ Blues accounts out there that are, in fact, one of them has been a stalker since '97. It didn't matter what social media I ended up on, they would there. And this guy's in Austria. He's basically a terrorist as far as I'm concerned. Nazi. Very disgusting one too. Ugh. But I wonder if he's dead yet, to be honest with you, because the guy was in age. But he was, I think his backstory was he was a newspaper guy, but he got on MSN groups and stuff, and this guy had some nasty stuff. He'd come into your group, join with a few other people, and then next thing you know, if you didn't agree with him and all, you got harassed big time. And I tell you what, like I said, since '97, what year is it today? That he's still got that Facebook out there making fun. So, oh well. So, what's next? Well, you know, we get to go to. I think I'll skip that subject. Spring break's over. We're going to go into a different subject now. Since we were talking about cover-ups and everything, and how some things you get, you know, when you report it, nothing happens. It's like it really is, because I had a conversation with Sled on the phone about the stores. I said, you know, it's either one of two things going on here. Either one, somebody doesn't exactly know how to do the job, or two, somebody's paid up with the right people. And I would like to think that the latter is not what it is, but I'm really, you know, don't know. You know, white collar rubbing, elbow rubbing, white collar elbow rubbers, yeah. So we do have something that several parents have contacted me about. I've been touching on this a little bit, but I have not told you everything I have. There is a house that I'll tell you how it first came to me. A concerned parent that was believing at first about some of this stuff against me, and then started, I guess, checking into it, and they finally just said, you know, and they were in my friends list, and I never deleted them. And then one day they finally said, screw it. They sent me a message and said, and that's exactly what they said. Screw it. I'll go ahead and talk to you and see if you have any avenues on this. And this person, they are a parent, but they also are an aunt. And I'm going to cover different age ranges here. We're talking ranges of 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. I mean, all the way through on kids that are being invited to parties that are unchaperoned. And the story goes that a young person, don't know who, if it was a guy or girl, inherited a house from their grandfather and has been having parties at it with underage kids. And they spend the night a lot of times too. This is unchaperoned parties. Reports are, and this is just the first parent. Now there are other parents from Gilbert and Lexington High School. This parent actually deals with the schools over in our area. What is that? The middle school over there behind the Chick-fil-A. I know whenever they leave there, they'll go to River Bluff. I know that much. But anyway, it's the schools over here in the Corley Mill Road 378 area, and back there behind. The reach goes out even further. We're finding out into other districts. So like Airport, BC, Pillion, I think still in District 1. Yeah. And, so this was last year whenever I got this acknowledgement. And I was already told about something from a parent in Gilbert because there's been a child missing for a while. So, but the story is that this house, like I said, was inherited. And my biggest thing has been trying to figure out how they are communicating with all these different kids. Well, it's word of mouth, but they're setting up appointments up and dates. I mean, it's actually like a club, but it's a house, and they're handling it like that. And so how are they getting the word out? Well, from another parent, they're telling me that it's through Snapchat. And apparently, now I do not use Snapchat. Maybe some of you do. But Snapchat, apparently, they can get in touch with multiple people and tell them about it and when the dates are open and then stuff like that. And, of course, the stuff disappears off. It's not there anymore. So kind of hard to incriminate at that point. But so like I said, we've been looking at this probably since November. I know it was last year. It might have been December. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look. But we've been looking at this for a while. And I had even let some of law enforcement know about it, but we thought it was somewhere else, and it turns out it wasn't. And it wasn't until 2 weeks ago that I got where it was. And I have pictures. And then I also looked it up on the map, on the tax map, to find out the names of the people that have it. There's 2 addresses there. And actually, now it's showing up on Google. Not much. There's no description. It is showing up on Google. And the place is called the Boom Boom Room. THA. Boom Boom Room. Now, the pictures I have. Now, this is, these, it's alleged. I've not been to a party to see all this. I only have reports from parents that are concerned about the safety of the children. So I have no full confirmation as to this except for their word. And we've been kind of looking into it and spoke with one of the kids, actually. And I started getting the verification that way. So I think it's safe to say that there are some things going on at this place, and especially when I looked at the pictures and saw it. Now, they're ballsy enough to actually have a sign on the side of the house that says the Boom Boom Room. You know, those little signs that you put the letters on? It's one of those, and it's on the wall, on the side wall of the house. The house is behind another house, but to the left of the driveway. The driveway goes in, and there's a house right there at the road. That's 208 Treemount Lane. The house behind it is to the left and kind of partially covered. I mean, there's woods around. And then, of course, to the right side of this property, it starts to clear out a little bit. And that one is 204 Tremont Lane, Gaston, South Carolina. If you look up the Boom Boom Room on Google, now I haven't gone any further into it on that. It actually shows it listed as a nightclub. And this is where underage kids are going and partying. And it kind of makes sense considering the problems that, because they may not be staying there all night. Because some of the problems that have happened out here have happened as late as 3 a.m. in the morning, and they've all come from that direction. So it kind of fits in. I know it's a little bit of a reach, but my gut has never lied to me. I've always been able to trust my gut feelings on things. And as soon as we get out of Facebook jail, I'll put some pictures up for you. And in fact, I'll figure out a way to get it up otherwise so you can see. But like I said, you can Google that, get a street view, and I'll probably see it as best as you can. I don't think you'll see the house in the back where the parties are on Google Maps, but you might be able to see it. You might be able to see the sign. But yeah. Now on the tax map, the properties are named, they have common last names. Excuse me. And the last name is Whitaker. So now we did turn this over to the sheriff's department. But like I said, we've turned things over before and haven't seen any results on that. Something that really is dangerous to the community, high level danger, because the kids, at least with the parents reporting it, they're finding out about it, but they're not finding out where it is. The only way we found out was because one of the parents had GPS tracking on a cell phone for one of the kids. That's how we found out where it was. And for sure. So that's what's going on in that. I mean, that's something we've been working on. We haven't really told anybody about. And I do believe that there are some administrators that know about this. There are some board members that know about this. And they don't care, because as long as you keep the rich kids happy, then the parents are happy. And those tax dollars stay, because everybody gets something out of it. The realtors that are attached to it. I mean, everybody is intertwined together. You got the town of Lexington that is annexing stuff right and left. You got the school district building more schools, getting more of your money. They'll do a bond referendum, of course, but that's got to be paid back. Where do you think it's going to come from? Your pocket. There's no need to keep building schools. I mean, I don't know what we got more of, Starbucks, schools, or Walmarts. I mean, yes, education's important, but building school after school after school doesn't change the system of it. How about getting some programs in place to actually educate instead of this? I mean, and as far as our schools go, instead of stretching them out and having like two fields for each kind of sport and activity, you don't need to lay out a college school for high school. I mean, hell, I went to Gilbert. I went to Lexington, I transferred to Gilbert, and we did just fine there. Build the schools to where you can go upward instead of outward. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going upward. There's nothing wrong with going more than 2 stories high. I mean, the big cities do it. I mean, there's no reason why we can't do it here. None whatsoever. And then instead of using all that space for extra fields and all that, if you wanted to have parking places available for a high school setup like that, you'll have plenty of room. You can use the same amount of land and still have plenty of room for that expansion. You don't have to fill everything up and then say, oh, well, we've run out of room here. We're going to have to split it up again and build a school over here. And it's just nonsense. It's a waste of money, waste of your money, a waste of my money, a waste of time. Especially if you're not teaching anything and you're just passing people through for the hell of it. And then for the small things, you'll expel those students. That's ridiculous, I tell you. So, but the Boom Boom Room, that's something we've been working on, and it affects everybody. Everybody. How many of these kids have been caught driving home drunk or have had wrecks? Now, we know there's been accidents. We know that all last week there was stuff going on with kids being out of school, because we saw it on the news. So, tell me, parents, do you know where your kids are? Are they at school today? Are they cutting school today? Are they hanging out at the river or somewhere else? You need to start low-jacking them, I guess. Finding out, getting more involved in what your kids are doing instead of waiting to hear about it later from a report and then want to argue that not my kid didn't do that. Well, why don't you just start getting more involved in your kid's life, and that way you know exactly what they're doing. Who says that? I said that. AJ Blues.
WDLN DeLorean Radio is on now. Serving Columbia, St. Andrews, Irmo, and Lexington.
Attention everyone. One.
Your local favorites are on now. Backstage with AJ Blues.